20 meters below the surface, on a reef that looks calm from above, something just threw the fastest punch on Earth. You didn't see it. No one ever does, because the strike lasted less than 2/10,000ths of a second. For a moment, everything looked still. Sunlight filtered through the water in slow, shifting patterns. Small reef fish drifted between branches of coral. Sand particles floated quietly with the current. Nothing suggested danger, nothing suggested speed. And yet, inside a narrow limestone burrow carved into coral rubble, a mantis shrimp unfolded its arm and struck. There was no warning, no chase, no visible motion. One moment the crab was alive, the next, its shell shattered outward. But the real shock didn't come from the impact, it came immediately after. The water around the shrimp's club briefly boiled, not from heat, from pressure. The limb moved so fast that the surrounding water couldn't stay intact. Pressure dropped violently, forming tiny vapor bubbles inside the liquid itself. Those bubbles collapsed almost instantly, and when they did, they released a second shockwave. The prey was hit twice, once by the limb, and once by collapsing physics. This process is called cavitation. It's the same destructive force that damages ship propellers and submarine blades. Engineers try to prevent it. The mantis shrimp evolved to use it. Nothing about that should exist. When most people hear the word shrimp, they imagine something small and harmless, something fragile, something eaten. The mantis shrimp is none of those things. It isn't even a true shrimp. It belongs to a group called stomatopods, an ancient lineage of crustaceans that split from other arthropods more than 400 million years ago. That's older than dinosaurs. Long before forest-covered land, early stomatopods were already evolving specialized hunting tools in ancient oceans. While most animals relied on muscle strength, these predators began evolving something very different: mechanical power. Muscle has limits. No matter how strong it becomes, muscle can only contract so quickly. That limitation exists across nearly every animal on Earth. Bird wings, human arms, insect legs, everything powered directly by muscle shares, similar biological constraints. The mantis shrimp found a way around that rule. Instead of relying purely on muscle speed, it stores energy first. Its striking limb, called a raptorial appendage, folds beneath its head like a compressed spring. Inside the limb sits a saddle-shaped structure made of hardened exoskeleton. When the shrimp contracts its muscles, that structure bends slightly. Energy builds. A biological latch locks the system in place. For a brief moment, the animal becomes completely still, loaded, silent, waiting, like a crossbow pulled to maximum tension. But unlike a crossbow, this system can reload in seconds. Then the latch releases. All the stored energy discharges at once. The limb accelerates at over 10,000 Gs. For comparison, fighter pilots begin losing consciousness at around 9 Gs. The mantis shrimp's limb experiences more than 1,000 times that force. And it happens underwater, where movement should be slower. Water is dense. Water resists motion. Water absorbs energy. But stored energy changes the rules. The club tip reaches speeds of about 23 meters per second. The force of impact can exceed 1,500 newtons. Enough to shatter snail shells, enough to crack crab armor, enough to break thin aquarium glass. But this creates a problem. At those forces, the weapon should destroy itself. Repeated high-energy impacts normally cause structural failure. Even strong materials weaken over time. Tiny fractures begin forming. Those fractures spread. Eventually the structure breaks, yet mantis shrimp strike thousands of times across their lives. Their clubs don't shatter, they endure. Because their weapon isn't built like ordinary biological tissue. It's built like advanced composite armor. The outer surface of the club is reinforced with hydroxyapatite, the same mineral found in human bone and teeth. But beneath that surface lies something even more remarkable. Layers of chitin fibers stack in rotating directions, forming a spiral structure. This pattern is called a helicoidal structure. Instead of allowing cracks to travel straight through the material, the spiral forces cracks to twist. And twisting cracks lose energy. They slow down. They stop. This natural design is now studied by engineers developing impact-resistant materials. Evolution solved the problem hundreds of millions of years earlier. But power alone isn't enough. Speed alone isn't enough. The mantis shrimp must also be accurate, because the strike window is incredibly small, a fraction of a second too early, and the prey escapes. A fraction too late, and the strike hits empty water. To solve this problem, mantis shrimp evolved one of the most complex visual systems on Earth. And this is where the animal becomes even stranger. Coral reefs are environments built on movement. Fish dart between coral branches. Light constantly shifts with the waves above. Predators watch for mistakes. Prey watch for shadows. Everything depends on reaction time. And for the mantis shrimp, vision becomes the difference between success and failure, between energy gained and energy wasted. But what the mantis shrimp sees is very different from what we see, because its eyes don't just detect color, they detect information hidden inside light itself. Most animals see the world using only a few types of photoreceptors. Humans have 3: red, green, blue. Our brains combine those signals to produce every color we experience. Dogs have 2, many birds have 4. The mantis shrimp can have up to 16 different photoreceptor types inside each eye. They can detect ultraviolet light, they can detect polarized light. Some species can even detect circularly polarized light, something almost no other animal on Earth can perceive. But the strangest part isn't just how many colors they can see, it's how their eyes actually work. Each eye sits on a flexible stalk. Both eyes move independently. One eye can scan forward while the other scans upward. This gives the mantis shrimp constant awareness of its surroundings without needing to move its body. Movement attracts attention on a reef. Stillness hides it, so the eyes do the moving. Inside each eye are 3 separate visual regions. This creates something extremely unusual. The mantis shrimp can measure depth using only one eye. Most animals require 2 eyes to judge distance accurately. The mantis shrimp doesn't. Each eye already contains the visual structure needed for depth perception. Even if one eye is damaged, animal can still hunt effectively. For an ambush predator, that reliability matters. But more photoreceptors don't necessarily mean more detailed color vision. In fact, research suggests mantis shrimp may process color faster, but not in the same way humans do. Instead of blending colors together to create complex gradients, they appear to categorize wavelengths directly, recognition instead of analysis, speed instead of precision. In an environment where reaction time determines survival, faster processing becomes more important than perfect color accuracy. Imagine seeing the reef not just in color, but in hidden signals. Light reflecting off fish scales, polarization patterns bouncing across shells, ultraviolet flashes invisible to most animals. To humans, coral reefs look vibrant. To a mantis shrimp, they look encoded. Every reflection carries information. Every movement contains data. The mantis shrimp is not just watching the reef, it's decoding it. Despite their incredible vision and extreme speed, mantis shrimp are not roaming hunters. They are ambush predators. And everything about their behavior revolves around one structure: the burrow. Mantis shrimp spend most of their lives inside narrow tunnels carved into coral rubble or sand. Only their eyes remain visible at the entrance, watching, tracking, waiting. The burrow protects them from predators. It also gives them a stable platform for striking prey. Many individuals maintain the same burrow for years. They constantly clear debris. They reinforce the walls. They reshape the entrance depending on currents. The burrow becomes both shelter and weapon. Because from this position, they control the distance of every encounter. But space on a coral reef is limited. And when space is limited, conflict becomes inevitable. Mantis shrimp are extremely territorial. When another mantis shrimp approaches, the encounter does not begin with immediate combat. Instead, something more calculated happens. Assessment. Both animals rise slightly from their burrows. Their bodies angle upward. Their eyes lock onto each other. Their striking appendages unfold partially, not fully extended, but clearly visible. This is a warning, a display of capability, because direct combat is dangerous, even for them. Their weapons are powerful enough to cause serious injury. Evolution favors individuals that avoid unnecessary fights. One of the most important display behaviors is called the maral spread. The mantis shrimp opens part of its striking limb to reveal bright color markings hidden inside the appendage. These colors act as signals, strength indicators, visual warnings. If one individual appears weaker, it retreats. Conflict ends without injury. But if neither backs down, the situation escalates. They begin striking the ground, not each other, the substrate. Short, controlled impacts that produce sharp clicking sounds underwater. Each strike demonstrates force. Each strike communicates capability. It's a contest without direct damage, at least for now. If neither animal retreats, real combat begins. And when it does, it happens almost too fast to follow. Limbs blur, sand bursts upward, water shifts violently for a fraction of a second. Then it stops. One mantis shrimp retreats, the other remains. Territory is preserved, but even the strongest mantis shrimp faces a moment of extreme vulnerability. A moment when its armor disappears, molting. Like all crustaceans, mantis shrimp must shed their exoskeleton to grow. Before molting begins, they seal their burrow. Sand and rubble block the entrance. Movement stops, hunting stops. The animal remains hidden. Inside, the old exoskeleton begins separating from the soft tissue beneath it. A new exoskeleton forms underneath. When the old shell finally splits, the mantis shrimp slowly pulls itself free. And for a brief period, everything changes. Its body becomes soft. Its armor disappears. Its striking appendages weaken. It cannot defend itself properly. This stage can last several days, sometimes longer. During this time, survival depends entirely on hiding. If a predator discovers the burrow, the mantis shrimp has almost no defense. Many do not survive molting. Growth always carries risk, but without growth, survival over time becomes impossible. Once the new exoskeleton hardens, the weapon returns. Stronger, sharper, ready again. And with that return comes the next evolutionary advantage. Because not all mantis shrimp hunt the same way. Over millions of years, evolution created two very different designs. Two different weapons, built from the same mechanical system. Smashers and spearers. Not all mantis shrimp hunt the same way. Over millions of years, evolution didn't settle on a single design. It experimented. And the result was two completely different weapons built from the same mechanical system. Smashers and spearers. Smashers are the species most people recognize. Their striking appendages end in rounded, hammer-like clubs. These clubs are built for impact, for breaking, for shattering armor. Crabs, snails, clams, animals that rely on hard shells for protection, dominate many reef environments, and smashers evolved specifically to defeat that protection. From the entrance of their burrow, they watch for movement. When prey move close enough, the strike happens instantly. There is no chase, no warning, only impact. The shell cracks, fragments scatter. The prey stops moving. The entire event lasts less than a blink. But smashing hard shells requires enormous force. And enormous force comes with risk. Each strike places stress on the appendage, too much stress, and the weapon could fail. That's why the mantis shrimp's club structure is so important. Its layered spiral architecture spreads impact energy outward. Instead of concentrating damage in one point, the structure redirects it. This allows the mantis shrimp to strike repeatedly without destroying its own weapon. It's a natural solution to a mechanical problem, one that engineers are still studying today. Spears evolved a completely different approach. Instead of blunt clubs, their appendages form sharp, barbed spikes. These limbs fold beneath the body like switchblades. Unlike smashers, spearers rarely live inside coral rubble. They prefer soft sand environments. They bury themselves almost completely beneath the surface. Only their eyes remain visible, still, silent, watching. Fish move constantly across sandy reef areas. Most of the time, nothing happens. But when a fish passes within range, the strike launches upward with explosive speed. The barbed appendage pierces the fish mid-swim, then retracts instantly, pulling the prey into the burrow. The entire sequence happens so fast that nearby fish often don't react at all. One moment the fish is there, the next it's gone. No chase, no struggle, only precision. Same spring-loaded system, same stored energy, different outcome. Two hunting strategies built from the same evolutionary foundation. This kind of divergence doesn't happen by accident. It happens because environments create pressure, and coral reefs create a lot of it. Coral reefs are among the most competitive ecosystems on Earth. Space is limited, shelter is limited, food is constantly contested. Every organism evolves under pressure. Over millions of years, prey species began improving their defenses. Snails developed thicker shells. Crabs reinforced their carapaces. Clams strengthened their closing muscles. Protection improved. And when protection improves, predators must adapt. The mantis shrimp adapted through speed. Faster strikes, stronger impacts, more precise timing. An evolutionary arms race shaped both predator and prey. But arms races do not last forever, because environments change, and coral reefs today are changing faster than many species can adapt. Ocean temperatures are rising, coral bleaching events are increasing. Ocean acidification weakens calcium-based structures, the same material used to build shells. When shells weaken, the balance shifts. Predators that evolve to break armor may face different prey, different competition, different survival pressures. For mantis shrimp, habitat matters just as much as prey. Their burrows depend on stable reef structures or consistent sediment layers. If coral breaks down, shelter disappears. If shelter disappears, survival becomes much harder. Unlike large marine animals, mantis shrimp cannot migrate across oceans. Their world is small, sometimes limited to just a few square meters. Everything they need exists within that space. If it changes too quickly, adaptation becomes difficult. And yet, mantis shrimp have survived before. Stomatopods have existed for more than 400 million years. They lived through mass extinctions, through shifting continents, through dramatic changes in ocean chemistry. Lineages survived not because they were the strongest, but because they adapted. Small changes over long periods created resilience, and resilience allowed survival. Even their life cycle reflects uncertainty. After mating, females produce thousands of eggs. These eggs hatch into tiny larvae that drift into open water. This stage is extremely dangerous. Most larvae never reach adulthood. Predators feed heavily on plankton. Ocean currents scatter them across vast distances. Only a small percentage survive long enough to settle back onto reef environments. Those that do must immediately begin digging, building, hiding, because from that moment forward, survival depends on shelter and timing. Despite their extreme abilities, mantis shrimp are not aggressive animals in the way people often imagine. They do not attack without reason. They do not strike randomly. Their strikes are tools used for hunting or defense. Everything about their behavior is optimized for efficiency. Energy is conserved, risk is minimized, precision matters. Because on a reef, mistakes are costly. Nothing about the mantis shrimp fits expectations. It is a crustacean that weaponized physics, an ambush predator that moves faster than most animals can react, an animal with a visual system unlike anything else in nature, and yet it remains almost completely hidden from human view. They live in cracks, in shadows, in narrow burrows beneath coral and sand. Most divers swim above them without ever noticing, but every so often, beneath the surface, another strike happens. Too fast to see, too small to hear, but powerful enough to shatter armor. The ocean is filled with animals that challenge what we think is possible. Some are massive, some are microscopic, and some, like the mantis shrimp, exist somewhere in between, small enough to overlook, complex enough to redefine biological limits. Proof that the most extreme adaptations don't always belong to the largest creatures. Sometimes they belong to the fastest. Creating films like this takes time, research, and patience, digging through real science to understand how these animals actually work. If you enjoy stories that explore how strange the natural world truly is, your support helps make more of them possible. Better visuals, deeper research, and more extraordinary creatures. Until next time, there's always something unexpected waiting just beneath the surface.